Okay. So I started the live, the FB live already. Mukhang ready naman si Celine rin. Tsaka dito na rin si Mikel. Let's see.
I like your look today, Mikel. So clean.
That's right. My wife tied my. Sabi ko kay Sab, do my hair and makeup before the vlog. Such a supportive wife.
Right. Oh, I'm sharing the link.
All right. Ron, it's the start of the PFL now. We were watching it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When did it start? Today?
Today, yeah. There was a game kanina, and then there's a game now at 8 o'clock. Si Kaya versus Maharlika. So Anton.
Ooh.
Go Anton Del Rosario. Represent the old people like me.
Awesome.
Do you have a particular team?
Well, now this new team, this Maharlika, because it's a team. Well, it's Maharlika. It's nice, but a lot of the players there I know, so at least I can finally support. Plus, Anton was my teammate in high school for like a little bit. He's younger than me by a bit, so I kind of feel like there's an old representation there. And Tito Sounds ni Ron.
Saki timing. Wait, quintessential ano yan? Generation X song. Have you seen The Breakfast Club, Celine? Yeah? Cool, di ba? Ikaw, Miguel. Breakfast Club.
Of course.
Oh, you know, Celine, nakuha pa niyo yung ni Judd Nelson. That's the actor who plays that character who did that very famous di ba? Punch in the Air sa ending ng movie. Iconic yun. All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to Istoryang Futbolero. My name's Ron Poblete. I'm with Mikel Paris of Auntie Anne's. And our Wednesday gal, Celine Veloso, is with us tonight. Yeah.
Love and light to all.
Thank you so much for joining us, Celine. Siyempre, your breath of fresh air as usual. Yun yung ating comment when we have you on board. And
definitely, I agree.
Siyempre, nagsasawa na sa mga pagmumukha namin yung mga viewers namin. So mabuti na meron kaming konting a different look when we have Celine. So we have a very interesting topic tonight. Medyo this is something relatable to Celine for some reason. I don't know why. Paano mo malalaman kung ang isang tao ay corrupt, sinungaling, o manloloko? Now, the way to do it is you can post your messages right below. If you are using either the Pop Beans page or the other groups that we've connected to, you can easily just post your messages right below. Tapos, sumali po kayo sa discussion ngayong gabi sa Istoryang Futbolero. So sabi ni Mikel, speaking of football, si Celine, by the way, plays football. So just in case you guys don't know, si Celine, that's why Celine was invited to this show, is because she used to play football with us. Yan ang maganda sa diba? Yan ang maganda sa football, Mikel. All girls can join us, can play with us. Hindi guys sa basketball, I don't know, do girls join pickup games with guys when they pag basketball games?
I've never been part of it, but I'm sure it happens, but it's not as common like sa football kasi talagang we enjoy naman kasi when the ladies play with us kasi actually they're a lot better pa than us. they're faster and they're braver. So, I have friends sometimes, they're not used to playing with females in the fields. They take it easy. So mamaya kakatayin sila ng girl. Like, oh no.
Grabe, si Celine, ibang klase mag-tackle yan.
Hindi ko ba?
Hindi, tsaka it only goes to show that football talaga is the sport that Filipinos should be playing. You know why? Because equal footing lahat, female, kasi, or it doesn't require you to be tall. Diba? If you're of a certain size, just as long as you're nimble and you can run fast, control the ball, babae ka ba, lalaki, you can actually do well, diba? Playing against the opposite sex.
Yeah,
And
the
it's so
girls
fun. Huh?
a lot of the girl football players, they're super tough.
Yeah, they're super
Super.
tough. They're ano pa ba, mas I remember playing with this artista, si yung, anak ba siya ni Rio Diaz?
Yeah, si Isabel.
Si Isabel.
Yeah.
We played with her one time. Remember that football place sa Bikutan? Ano pangalan nun?
The Camp.
The Camp, diba? So yung open pa The Camp sa Taguig to eh. Tapos kalaro namin yan sumali yan si Isabel. Wild man, ibang klase pa ganun.
Tapang yan.
Sikod.
Grabe. Natapang yun si Isabel. Grabe. We played with her a few times. She's intense. Magaling yun.
Yeah, hardcore siya, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard tackler. Tapos, talagang shoulder to shoulder ka. Walang pakialam kung lalaki ka. I remember this guy who played with us, si Lyndon, who works for one of the hospitals. Sabi niya talaga, as in, pikun na pikun siya kay Isabel. Sabi niya, pahay na ito.
Magagaling yan talaga yung mga yan.
Ay, nako. Yeah. Anyway, let me just say hello to our first few listeners, our early bird, si Julio Trenta. Good evening, Miss Celine, Sir Ron, and Sir Mikel.
Wag mo naman kami, sir. Hindi naman kami, sir. Okay lang yan.
Oo nga eh. Ron lang, tsaka Mikel. Or Celine. Tapos si Lorenzo Aquino.
Ma'am Celine.
Ma'am Celine yan. Si Celine na lang yung ma'am nyo.
Ako naka-single out.
Tapos, and one other person from the other group, tingnan kanyang background. Right, I didn't get that. Anyway, so let's start with Celine. Celine, kanina pinapag-usapan natin yung nakarelasyon at meron ka bang na-notice? Have you encountered guys na, kasi so many different ways of discussing this, no? Kasi this is applicable to politicians, to boyfriends, to acquaintances, or business partners, or sometimes may mga racket pa on social media, on Facebook, yung mga gustong, let's say, kumuha ng passport, meron mga nagpapresenta ng kailang services. Hindi mo alam, sinascam ka na pala. So, ikaw, Celine, paano mo nalalaman kung kunyari ang lalaki na may gusto sa'yo ay sinungaling or manloloko? Do you have to get to know this person for a long period of time before you know, or you can sense right away that this person is insincere?
Tingin ko, nasa-sense ko kagad.
Sense mo kagad? Paano nga? Sige nga. Meron ba mga telltale signs? Like,
Well,
kunyari, usap kayo sa facial expression. Can you tell if the person is mambobola? Si Mikel, mukhang mambobola ba?
Nalihimik lang ako dito.
Dapat tanongin natin si Sabe, pero sige sa tingin mo.
Sabihin niya, nabola ko siya eh. So.
mga taong professional liars. Like, magaling, pre-practice na nila, alam na nila kung paano. Pero yung hindi praktisado, malalaman, mahuhuli mo kagad. Kasi may mga signs eh. Kunyari, hindi siya nag-eye contact.
Tama, no? Tapos,
yung sinasabi. Ganon.
Tapos
or hindi siya sumasagot agad.
Yun, oo nga, no? Tapos hindi coherent, no? May kunyari, pag ini-explain niya yung gagawin niya, hindi niya ma-string together yung idea na parang, parang hindi niya naiintindihan yung gusto niyang sabihin. Although, pwede naman baka nininervyos lang kausap ka si Lin. Di ba?
Oo nga naman.
Hindi.
Hindi rin. Anong worst situation na na-experience mo, Celine, sa manloloko? Meron ka na ba dito? Naloko ka na ba sa, may nagbenta na ba sa'yo na fake or meron na scam ka na ba before or nangyari na ba sa'yo yan? Or meron bang lalaki na kunyari nagpanggap na may gusto sa'yo or yung pala iba lang habol?
Well, hindi sa ganon. Ang siguro saan ako laging na is sa sales talk.
Ah.
Different sense, hindi naman sa personal na talagang outright nagsisinungaling sa akin. Pero yun, pag minsan may nagbebenta sa akin ng kung ano-ano, kahit na ayaw ko siyang bilhin, bibili ako.
Malambot pala ilong nito ni Celine. Madali. Anong example yan, Celine? Anong nabenta sa'yo? Anong benta ka ng example?
Kung ano-ano lang.
Hindi kasi, alam mo, we can start with, my
For real.
Ha?
Nasisense ko na, alam ko na kaagad. Ewan ko, for me, it's a feeling. More than like actual signs, like physical signs. Mas nasisense ko siya sa pakiramdam.
Yung pinaka best experience na you can find so many people who talagang medyo maraming manloloko is yung sa pag bumibili ka ng second hand car. Di ba, Mikel? Yung mga yung mga second hand car dealers paminsan ang ang style dyan kasi they buy a car cheap, really na talagang mura, na may mga sira, tapos i-remedge nila ng konti, tapos pipinturahan na maganda, it looks shiny, tapos papakintabin yung makina para pagbukas mo ng hood, linis ganoon,
engine wash.
Engine wash. Tapos pero hindi mo, paminsan may mga problema pala sa kanyang idling or may katok na yung makina. So if you are somebody na who's easily convinced dahil lang because of the physical appearance of something, bibili mo bigla tapos only to find out na sirain pala yung sasakyan. So may mga ganung klaseng mga racket, kunyari bibenta nila yung sasakyan ng 250,000. Binili lang nila doon sa siguro ito may nabangga dati, binili ng 100. Tapos pinahis ng konti, di ba, Mikel? That happens. And then they earn from you like around 50K minimum or 100,000. Paminsan yung mga kupal talaga.
kaya pala, Ron, si Attorney Mikoy palaging binibili yung mga second hand na kotse from me. Ibig sabihin, katiwa-tiwala pala talaga ako.
Katiwa-tiwala talaga.
I'm trustworthy.
My advice to people, if they're gonna buy second-hand cars, they should look for people like Mikel, na most of the time yung mga nagdi-dispose na ng sasakyan dahil medyo 5 years old na, tapos kailangan nilang mag-upgrade. Kaso,
hindi naman, wala. Kailangan lang namin for the company. We have to, after a few years, because you have to have car loans and stuff, no?
Yeah, exactly. So, at least alam mo may service history yung sasakyan. And kaso lang, ang problema dyan, yung mga car dealers kasi, magaling sila sa ganyan meron na sila paminsan kasabot pa nila yung mga security guard ng mga private villages. Sasabihin nila, "Oy, sir, timbrehan mo ako kung meron mga nagbebenta ng sasakyan dyan sa village na yan, ha?" Di ba, Mikel? What do you think?
Actually, no. Like, in fairness, yun nga, di ba, regularly, we sell our cars after 5 years generally. And palagi may mga lumalapit na yun sa akin. One, kasi nga alam nilang alagang cars. And I don't really go anywhere, no? So, yung kilometers, yung mga mileage ng cars are really quite low. Pero malaman nang lalapit siya maglo-lowball na yan. Sabi, "Sir, bebenta namin yan for you." And they'll give you a really low amount because, papatungan nila yan ng mga 200,000, 300,000. So normally, whatever they tell me the price is, I add another 200,000 because I know that's what the real value. So like sometimes even with the dealer, kasi even like if you're gonna trade in your car dun sa dealer, a lot of times they'll give you a low figure kasi they will sell that higher, especially if they know the car is still good. Diba? So, I mean, yeah, they all gotta make money. That's how they do it naman. I can't know. But yun, si Attorney Mikoy, he normally buys the cars from us or his girlfriend or whoever it is. But he's one of those guys I know only buy secondhand cars. And there's a lot of people out there who actually have a lot of money but they only want to buy secondhand. But yun lang, with secondhand kasi talagang it's hard. There's so many articles on the internet to teach you what to look for, mga ganun. Pero talagang hashtag tiwala minsan kasi pag binili, I mean, the main thing on the deed of sale, nakalagay, di ba, buyer beware na yan. So pag binili mo yun, pag lumabas ka, biglang mahulog yung makina, wala ka na magagawa dyan.
At saka magtataka ka kung kunyari binibenta yung kotse na sobrang mura. Ibig sabihin, walang gustong bumili.
But sometimes kasi like may mga rush sale talaga na the person is leaving the country or kailangan talaga ng pera. There are good deals. But there are talaga mga reputable naman dyan ng mga second hand. But the good news kasi now is like sa mga dealership, kahit yung mga second hand, because we live in an age of the internet na may mga review. Di ba, people can leave reviews. So okay itong dealership na to, trusted sila. Yung mga as before talagang susugal ka eh. Now, with almost anything, there's a review. You buy something on Lazada, normally, tiwala lang talaga yan, di ba? Especially the stuff coming from China.
Yeah.
But you base it on the reviews. If more, I mean, sa reviews kasi mahirap, there's always going to be somebody who's unhappy. Di ba? If you read the reviews, like, a lot of it's nice, and then some guy will say, this is horrible. But you have to balance it na lang. If most of the people are saying, one, it's a legit item, tas decente naman, go ka na. Sometimes kasi makita ka na isang bad review, you're like, wag na lang. But you never know, diba? There's some weirdos who just like leaving bad reviews.
Actually, something that you have to watch out for. So, I don't know, Celine, if you agree with this. Yung mga Lazada review, yung mga reviews yung mga yung pag nag-online shopping ka. Paminsan fabricated kasi yung ibang reviews dyan eh. Malalaman mo kasi parang the same message, different names.
Right, okay. To the viewers out there, okay, my advice ako sa inyo today, libre to. If you're bored, like really bored and you want to laugh, go on Lazada and just tumingin kayo ng mga review. Okay, my friend ako isa si Pacholo. He started posting on his mga IG stories ng mga sobrang nakakatawa mga reviews sa Lazada. As in, lalo na yung mga clothes. May mga nagmo-model kasi, like, they get the mga bathing suits, the underwear. They'll really model it, like, completely. And it's just hilarious. Tapos yung mga fat-burning pills, magayon. Basta matatawa ka lang sa mga reviews. Sobrang laugh trip. So kung nalulungkot ka, pumunta ka sa Lazada, basahin mo yung mga reviews. Warning lang, you could be there for 3 hours just looking at all these reviews.
Oh yeah, that happened to me. Ikaw, Celine, have you bought anything from Lazada or Shopee na medyo nagsisi ka?
So far, wala pa naman. Kasi nga, tinitingnan ko rin yung mga reviews.
Okay. So, most of the time, okay naman, tama yung reviews. Kung, ang hinahanap ko yung medyo malaki yung number eh. Kunyari, 500 reviews or 120 reviews. Kahit na, pinapatulan ko na ngayon mga 40 reviews eh. Medyo madami-dami na rin yun para magandang sample size na kumbaga. Ito nga sabi ni Attorney Mikoy. Attorney.
Realistic.
Sabi niya, totoo, buy from your friends daw. Unahin mo yung mga kaibigan mo. Kaya nga may mga kaibigan tayo mahilig mag-crowdsource sa FB. Yung anybody selling there.
But there's actually a lot of good stuff on Facebook. Like there's one of these pages I joined on Facebook. It's called Best of the Best. So you go there and you ask a question like best place to get my RFID sticker, or best place or best way to remove a stain. And it's crowdsourced. Everybody there will start answering. And it's very well curated because bawal yung mga gagong sagot. Alam mo yun, yung mga, minsan kasi you ask a decent question, there's about 10 bastards who will make you gago there, di ba? Here it's very well curated. So I've used it many times na. Kuwari, like for Auntie Anne's, we were looking for nung time yung lockdown pa, naghahanap kami ng mga insulated na bags for the delivery. I posted there within minutes and I had so many comments and I was able to buy and arrange because he was referred by somebody there. Alam mo, okay, di ba? Pwede mong pagkatiwalaan and they started sending pictures. So there's mga ganun kinds of stuff on Facebook. It's really, really good. So if you're looking for something, I know a lot of people, like they'll say, I need a second-hand laptop. Anybody can refer. Biglang bam, dami na magsasabi. That for me is using social media for good. Networking or crowdsourcing in that way. And a lot of times, even like for charitable causes, I need this, I need help. And then everybody just goes in, diba? But those are the ways na parang you can mitigate yung mga trust issues. No?
Best of the best ng Facebook page?
Yes, best of the best Manila, I think. Something like that. I can send you the link. It's really good. It saved me so many times. And the people there are so good. Like even things like, well, best place to get an aircon or best split type aircon for a ganyan-ganyan apartment. Minsan paulit-ulit lang yung questions. But you can't just post it. It has to be checked. There's a moderator. Nina Jalcita, I think her name is. But it's fantastic. Whoever included me in that page, I'm so grateful. We even use it for our work. Magaling.
Cool.
Kasi ang hirap talaga magtiwala ngayon. I mean, even, actually, ilang times, Ron, sa area mo sa Las Piñas, ilang beses na nabalita yan recently because nga, di ba, may nanggagago dyan ng order ng Grab food tapos pagdating wala. Recently, nasa news ulit, last week, may mga naloko ulit eh. So, yung actually, those mga apps like si Grab, Shopee, sila malaking tiwala din on the consumer. Because yung sa cash on delivery, a lot of times you'll be surprised that people don't pay for what they get delivered or they're not there. So they're the ones. So sometimes kasi we all think, oh, gagaguhin lang tayo ni Lazada. It's actually two ways. Madami nagagago din sa kanila. Unfortunately, dito sa Pilipinas, madami mga medyo crazy.
Pero kawawa rin pala, Mikel, Celine, yung mga Grab food or, well, yung mga Panda. What's this?
Food Panda.
Like Food Panda. Kasi, kunyari may umorder sa kanila, pwede palang ipa-cancel sa'yo nung rider, pero babayaran pa din ng Food Panda yon, diba? And then they get to keep the whatever it is that the merchandise. Kumbaga, may mga ganun pala mga situation na may mga ways na they take advantage of the setup or the system.
Yeah, madami yan. There was a time, I remember, nakwento ko na ito before, is that like we go through the social media pages for Auntie Anne's. May time na napabalita sa amin na a girl paid for some Auntie Anne's delivery na lang kasi dumating yung rider doon, wala, parang naloko lang siya, di ba? So we found out about it, so naawa kami. So we sent pretzels to that girl who paid. Trying to say, hey, thanks, not everybody's a bastard, may mga good people out there, and we promoted pa nga, not for us to look good, but to say, you gotta really be careful with these Grab drivers. Kawawa naman, especially the early days of the pandemic, they're the ones risking their lives going out there, just gagaguhin lang. Dami mga siraulo din, sadly.
Sabi ni Julio 30 sa Shopee, ang tinitingnan ko kung ilan na nakabili ng product nila. 5 out of 5 na nabili ko ay sulit naman. All right.
In fairness to Shopee and Lazada, but I use mostly Lazada because it's easier. But I've never bought anything na sablay there na it didn't arrive or it was the wrong item. And then if there is an issue, they pay you back. They refund you right away.
Ako, most of the time, it's the wrong, say, specs. Kaya bili ka ng lens. Tapos, hindi pala ito yung lens na gusto ko, pangit.
Itong whole vlog setup natin, to mga ring light, lahat yan, katas ng Lazada.
Okay. Itong setup na to, pwedeng sponsored ng Shopee or Lazada.
Lazada or Shopee, if you're watching, pwede din kaming endorser, wag lang si Chris Aquino, pwede din kami.
Si Celine, kailangan ng ring light para mas lumiwanag yung beauty niya.
Sponsor naman dyan, kailangan ko ng setup.
Yun.
Mike.
Is anybody watching?
Pati Mike daw. Sabi ni Nelly Ortiz, I don't buy from Lazada or Shopee. I prefer to buy sa shopping malls. Iba talaga yung nakikita mo yung produkto Pag bumili ka ng sapatos, hindi ka sure pag sa size, di ba?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things to buy online is shoes and clothes. No, kasi sa shoes, you'd think kasi kuwari, size 12 is size 12 the same. No, each shoe is a different fit. So you have to really try it. Diba? So takot ako bumili ng sapatos online. Unless meron na akong ganong klaseng shoe before, na alam ko yun yung size talaga. Pero ang hirap bumili ng mga yan. Shoes, clothes, mga brief. Wag kang bibili ng brief.
Celine, tanungin kita, kasi ikaw yung medyo apolitical dito, but you're familiar with some of the politicians that are, well-known, di ba? Medyo, if I mention the name, like for example, sige, Mayor Isko Moreno. Kilala mo si Mayor Isko? Si Mayor Isko Moreno, impression mo, ikaw, marunong ka naman siguro magbasa ng personality based on what the very small information that you know of the guy, or Anong pakiramdam mo sa kanya? Sabi mo, by feel mo, nararamdaman mo kung sincere ang tao, hindi. Si Mayor Isko Moreno, anong masasabi mo? sa, sabay ganun.
Well, it's very hard because he's an actor.
Oh, okay. That's a
Yun
good point, though.
Yun yung una kong naiisip na parang he's a professional actor. So, he can play a role if he wants to.
Mm.
And especially like, actually kanina we were talking about social media in local government. He's done a good job in really capitalizing on that. Like I see him very, very active on social media and all that. I think it's brilliant for him. I think it's really given him a lot of exposure and really maximizing him and his skills. Is he truthful? I don't know. It's really hard. It's really hard.
Sige. Ano tayo? Mag-authenticity scale tayo from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Si Mayor Isko Moreno, ano ang iyong, your opinion mo lang naman to if you were to give him a score, what's his authenticity score?
I don't know. Maybe 7.
7 ka, 7. No, pwede naman 7. Okay naman 7. Meron ka pang skeptical ka pa sa 30%. Di ba? So, 7%, sure. Ikaw, Mikel?
Well, I believe naman kasi nobody is always 100% authentic, no? So there's always something they're hiding or they're portraying a different image to certain crowds, diba? So for me, si Isko is about an 8 or a 9 at least. I don't know him very well, but I'm impressed so far. So the image that he is portraying, I'm happy with. I'm okay. Very rare naman makarinig ka ng masama about Isko Moreno. So I guess that's a good sign. Minsan kasi alam mo you still may chismis rumors na ganyan, salbahin sa katulong or something. Sa kanya so far, mabait naman siya. So about at least an 8.
Yeah, ano kasi rin pag when you hear something negative about a politician, you have to consider also if there's another party trying to make him look bad. Diba? Because meron mga demolition jobs rin ginagawa kasi on the side against a politician. But one thing I know about Isko Moreno is based on the accounts of certain friends who are close with him. Kasi yung isang actually kaibigan natin, Mikel, si Cliff. Si Cliff, nasa LA natin na kaibigan.
Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. Yung yung one of his kids, inaanak siya ni Isko. Godfather si Isko ng one of his sons. And sabi niya si Isko daw is he's a good guy.
I'm sure it's good.
Lang siya, social media savvy. And him being social media savvy maybe will create skeptics or will create medyo may konting duda na may mafe-feel ka ring parang sobrang galing naman ito sa social media. Diba? And then people sometimes comment when he's like always sometimes people feel that he's overexposed. So paminsan if you're overexposed, people tend to question your authenticity or sincerity na parang, is he doing this for public consumption so that is he like gunning for like a higher office in the next elections? Kasi why is he so exposed? So may mga questions na ganun. Funny yung yung nabasa ba niyo yung issue ngayon about Vice President about Bongbong Marcos?
Yung kay Ortega,
yung director yata sa Region 3? Region 3 Region 2.
Yeah, but diba he's from a very powerful family also.
And they're politically aligned with the Marcoses. Is
that
no?
I don't know. You wouldn't introduce him as the vice president unless you were politically aligned with him somehow.
Yeah, kasi meron na kunyari like Star, merong lumabas sa Philippine Star kasi na syempre ina-angle na ng Philippine Stars no is a known yellow newspaper eh. Sabi doon parang nag-gain daw ng traction, nagte-trend daw sa Twitter yung parang gusto nila i-fire si Ortega or quit now, parang something to that.
Resign. They want him to resign.
Resign, parang pinapa-resign nila. So naisip ko bigla, Mikel, yung ating mga conversation, Celine, about free speech. In a way, if this, kasi you have to consider context talaga when it comes to stuff like this, no? Obviously, he is politically aligned with the Marcoses. He was asked to introduce Bongbong Marcos, who is contesting the vice presidency up to now. It's been 4 years. They have a case in the Supreme Court. And for him to play to the crowd, I think he was just playing to the crowd, diba? Oh, yung totoong vice president, o gano'n, something to that effect. And since social media, easily just post that and then everyone will find out. And I think that's what happened. People who don't like Bongbong Marcos, the ones who are supporters of Leni Robredo, suddenly, called foul. Parang, oy, ano yan sitting vice president yan. Tapos ano din, government official ka pa man din. For you to say something like that, it's very, di ba? Offensive or improper. So, but it begs the question, Mikel, Celine, like sabi ko nga, like we've discussed this before, kayo nga ang madalas kayo magsabi, tanggalin si Digong.
Yeah, I mean, this Ortega issue, I mean, I understand it. I mean, mali naman talaga. Let's face it. I mean, to introduce somebody as the vice president who isn't the vice president is wrong. Whether it's being contested or not doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you still have to honor it.
Vice President of Ilocos.
I saw what he said. I mean, I get why he said it. I don't think he's a horrible person for doing it. I don't think he should resign because of it. This is where people are so sensitive. Lahat na lang na bawal magkamali, resign na lang. Imagine in your work, every mistake you made, papa-resigning kita. Diba? Alam mo yun, magpa-hashtag tayo sa opisina na resign Celine, di ba? Bawal magkamali ngayon itong cancel culture, nakakatakot eh. But anyway, so I get what they're saying. It's wrong. I mean, it was wrong. He misspoke, probably. Move on. Dami natin problema sa mundo. I don't care what that guy said. Jesus. He's more known to me for being the boyfriend of that Jasmine Curtis. That's what I know him more.
Curtis?
Yeah, yung kapatid ni Ann Curtis, yan yung boyfriend eh.
Okay. All right.
Gosh, you're getting all your showbiz balita from me again, Ron. Huh?
Okay. Ikaw, Celine, alam mo ba yan? Alam mo yung, yung bit of information coming from Miguel?
Wala, hindi ako sa mga showbiz eh. Hindi ako ma-showbiz.
Bro, I'm a frustrated boy abunda. I'm telling you.
Oh, kailangan na yata natin palitan yung show natin.
Dapat medyo may showbiz angle na. Dapat.
Winner yan, kaya ko yan. I can do the showbiz angle very, very well. Even when I lived in England, nanonood ako palagi ng The Buzz.
Tama, Michael, para we can invite celebrities to guest on the show para kung gusto mo
Carrie Bells yan, Carrie Bells.
Carrie Bells. Si Julio 30, overexposed minsan si Isko. Pinagmukha niyang weakest link yung ibang mayor dito sa NCR.
Ron, yung problem also with that, like remember what happened to Binay? Binay was so popular, right? Everybody loved Binay. Everybody was convinced. But then, he made himself a target. Masyadong maaga siyang lumabas. So, syempre, demolition job siya nung kalaban running up to the election. By the time the elections came, wala na. It was like completely ruined, diba? So, you should really, I mean, you need publicity for sure, diba? Syempre, hindi ka mananalo kung hindi ka sikat. But you have to time it because if you're identified right away as a main threat, naku, grabe ang demolition job sa character mo. Lahat ng mga picture nung nakabrief pa si Isko Moreno, lalabas na naman nila yan, yung mga sexy dance niya.
Pero Mikel,
really sad.
Since you mentioned Binay, I can imagine billions of pesos going down the drain for that campaign just because he oversold himself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he got confident or what, because he's very popular. I think everybody thought he was gonna have, and then they spend so much money ruining the guy and his family. I mean, I'm not saying
Celine,
deserved or undeserved, but talagang yun yung ginawa nila.
ikaw Celine, do you, anong, kung si Jejomar Binay, authenticity scale, anong grade mo sa kanya?
I don't know.
Grabe, no, on the spot mo si Celine palagi. Yun, eh.
Siya kasi yung non-political sa ating dalawa, Mikel.
I mean,
Although
kasi
ikaw rin,
I've heard stories, so I might be a little biased about about him.
medyo biased. So given the what you know or the limited information that you know of this guy, what's the score? What?
He's been there forever, diba?
Huh?
I mean, he's been here forever, diba? He's a dynasty.
Oh,
Mm.
So,
and you think na he fell short or paano kung sabihin niya, tingnan mo Makati, it's so progressive because of the Binay. Totoo ba yun? Is that an accurate assessment? Because he's the mayor, that's why Makati is such a progressive city.
Well, I think the Ayalas will have something to say about that.
yeah.
True.
I mean, it's not that they didn't do anything. I'm sure they did a lot. Like, I see stuff. And I live in Makati, so and hello to Mayor Rabina if you're
Kaya pala, ikaw talaga ako mo tinatanong.
for the frozen fish. Padala siya ng frozen fish. Nagulat ako.
Huh?
Oo.
Talaga?
Oo.
Yeah, for Makati residents, may fish. Tapos before, di ba, yung mga seniors may cake. My dad used to get cakes. Dun sa
I mean, meron naman. Pero, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to know because I don't have enough exposure. Like, I don't get to see them in action. I don't see them in person. I've never seen any of them in person. So it's hard for me to really say and to judge. I can only judge based on what I experience myself. And so far, and I've only been living here in Makati for 2 years. So I've only experienced it now, the Makati life. And so far, okay naman. Malinis naman ito sa amin. Ayan.
Magaling si Abby. Magaling daw yan. Like the Makati residents get their stuff. Even during the pandemic, I think they got their money easy, di ba? Kasi may mga ATM, may card yan eh.
Oo,
So they voted for the right Binay, kumbaga, when they voted for Abby.
I guess
Well,
so.
yeah. Yun lang yung weird, yung mag-away sila magkapatid about that. But
Yeah.
I can never imagine myself fighting with my brother or sister over something so trivial, so something like that. I'm sure ginulpi muna kami ng tatay namin bago ma-air yung problemang yun.
Pero history is filled with stories of betrayal between relatives, even brothers brothers or siblings, or even, di ba? Because
Well,
they wanted to stay in power, or they wanted to take over.
Well, in families, diba, they always say, everybody says, no, my brother and sister and I, we all get along so well. I said, yeah, that's perfect until your parents die and you have to fight about the money that's left behind.
Mhm.
That's normally when the troubles start. Maaway tungkol sa lupa. Oh my God, thank God, wala kaming mga ganyan. So wala kaming pag-aawayan. Pag-aawayan lang namin yung utang ng mga magulang namin. Sino yan? But our parents kasi ever since when we were younger, they used to tell us naman na wala kayong mamanayan sa amin. So at least, diba, we know. But I've seen it too many times in mga families na were so close before, walang issues. Biglang somebody dies in the family and then pag-aawayan na yung mga natirang assets. Oh my gosh, it's like they become a different person, so vicious.
That's so true.
It's so scary, and sometimes it's over like a trivial small piece of land somewhere. And it's not even worth that much, pero they'll ruin you and the whole family just because of that.
It's a common story. How much more if we're talking about territory or somebody running for mayor? Paminsan patayan talaga yan, ha? Miguel, yung
Oh yeah, it's scary. I remember the last time some people were killed like on the road, assassinated.
Assassinated.
in main roads, like in EDSA, for political reasons.
Yeah.
It's really scary because, that's like a main road that we pass by all the time. Eh kung na-aksidenteng, di ba, nadamay ka doon.
Yung
Nakakalungkot.
ano nga. Dito sa Pilipinas, barangay captain, sangguniang kabataan nga, nagpapatayan para lang sa pwesto niya. So, oh my God. How much money are in those positions that you're willing to die?
Kaya nga eh. I mean, I think may millions talaga allotted to the barangays. And there's money to make if you're an official in government. That's why, it means somebody's life if they contest a position in government.
Super. I mean, you're willing to spend 50 to 100 million just to run for that post kasi lang gusto mo lang tulungan yung mga kababayan mo. Ulul. Binabawi nila in a certain time, and if you're a threat to them, patayan niya. Even, di ba, in Pasig, the Eusebios were there for so long, and there were so many rumors, yung mga, kahit si Jaworski daw, di ba, pinasabog yung coach. Yung mga rumors. If the Eusebios are watching, rumors. Alleged. And then Vico came along, and he was like completely different, di ba? But if these people, they tend to protect their mga fiefdoms, di ba? Kaya nga ayaw ron. This, sila Lawrence are watching. That's why a lot of them don't want to go with the constitutional reform.
Yeah.
Because mababago yung mga, mawawala yung mga racket nila.
Mawawala kumbaga, the rules of the game works for them. Why would want to change it now? Diba? Because they can easily manipulate everything. Begs the question, Celine, it got me thinking about advertising because that's your realm, no? You're in advertising. Would you say there are times when you come up with a campaign that campaign tend to be a bit of a lie when it comes to this, selling a product? When you oversell something, do you consider it? Like, for example, you promise all right, this car is so amazing, it can fly, but, you pala fly like...
You're referring to my ex-clients?
Grabe, Celine, naka-hot seat ka talaga today.
Hindi kasi, alam mo, campaign season na, malapit na mag-campaign season by 2021. The ones running for a position in 2022 will hire PR firms and advertising firms to help them promote their brand. Mm-hmm. So the thing about advertising, kasi sometimes is you look for the most positive thing about the product, and then that's what you highlight. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they exaggerate it to make it appear na, better than it actually is. So is that another form of lying, San, you think? I mean, are there any ethical standards that are being violated when that you follow at the very least when you do advertising?
Well, advertising is free for all. I mean, meron namang mga governing institutions within advertising. We have the ad board, you have the
Ad Standards Council.
Yes, the Ad Standards Council. So, merong rules yan. That's why, di ba, I don't know kung nakita niyo dati yung mga papaya soaps, di ba, na mga, minsan,
pati 5 days, puputi ka na. Kagaya ni Chris Aquino.
Oo.
Tapos yan, go ahead.
So, may mga, kung meron ka mga claims na hindi totoo, pinagbabawalan yan. Pero syempre, the way you say it, diba, there's a fine line between what's truthful and not. And I think that's where the brilliance of, the agency comes in. That's that's where the profession, but also it's really up to the people if they're going to believe it or not, diba? Definitely advertising, there's a lot, it's all about marketing, putting your best foot forward. So of course, a lot is exaggerated. But, that's the whole purpose of it, diba? You want to be out there, and
it's crazy.
But it's hard. With advertising though, Celine, diba? Like sometimes I had this in Antians, no? We got taken to the DTI. I think this must have been like 4 years ago. because we had an ad of our pretzel food, but like we had to put other food around it. Syempre to make it look nice, diba? So
Mm-mm.
somebody bought and they complained because they said that the picture was misleading because it didn't come with all the other stuff that was in the picture. And it
Okay.
was like a giant bowl of cream cheese, let's say. Diba? Parang so the person thought na when they bought that pretzel, may kasamang
Cream cheese.
giant bowl of cream cheese. And I was like, well, that's a bit extreme. Anyway, so I personally went to the DTI because this guy, we had the hearing and everything. Parang mediation ba? And I
You had
went to the thing.
he filed a complaint talaga?
Yes, because they write in first, and I answered, di ba, explained, and di pa rin siya happy. So dinala kami sa DTI. And normally the people would just send their marketing team, but me, I wanted to be there because I felt so strongly about it. I was like, what the heck, man? We don't take everything. If you want all the pictures, so I even printed all these pictures of all the mga McDonald's, everybody. I said, kasama ba itong mga to? We're gonna start taking it literally. Kasama pati yung picture kung may picture ng cow, kasama yung baka. Diba yung mga ganon? It can't be, diba? So anyway, we won. I mean, in the end, he just, even the person from the DTI said, uy, ano ka ba naman? Be reasonable. But ever since then, I've had to be super careful with the ads that we make because there's always people out there who would take it differently, and they take it too literally or sometimes, and
Sure.
there'll always be people when you do an ad who will be offended. Diba? Ayun,
Hey,
speaking of
Sarah.
advertising.
Sarah, Celine, Sarah, do you know each other by any chance?
I think we've played football before.
They
Yun.
tackled each other na daw. Wala na. Patayan.
I think so. Yeah. Hello.
Uy, Sarah, si Celine yung base sa Singapore before. Funny, hindi kayo nakita dun.
Okay. Like
Yun.
how long ago?
How long ago daw, Celine?
Well, I came back 2018.
Okay, so I was here already then. Yeah, because I moved here mga 2014. Yeah.
Sa
So
bagay,
Malaki pa naman ng Singapore.
malaki pa naman Singapore. Oh, correct. Kahit na siguro.
Yeah, sorry.
Parang talaga nasa LA ka, so nakita kayo. What? Something like that. Yeah. But it's cool to have both of you now on the program. So, Sarah, thank you for joining us. Huh? Diba?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Tama-tama, Sarah, kasi si Celine yung ginigrill namin about advertising, our topic for tonight kasi. Yung title is Power, Lies, and Corruption. It's like a title of a New Order song or album. If you're familiar with the band. Yeah, Power, Lies.
Ano naman yung mga 80s references mo ron, di na naman kami makasabay nila.
But what we want to do, Sarah, because is our small experiences with people who are either conniving or medyo unscrupulous, who lie, cheat to gain favors or to have personal gain. It's interconnected and it reflects it reflects with what's going on in our politics nowadays, diba? Not only here in the Philippines, but all over the world. Actually, if you go to, people watch Netflix all the time, no? I really recommend to people, instead of watching the Korean telenovelas on Netflix, try watching the documentaries because you'll learn a lot from some of the stuff that they show on Netflix, especially on politics. Do you guys get to watch? Do you watch documentaries by any chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool.
So good.
I remember there are a few documentaries about politics, like this guy who was featured, who used to be Trump's President Trump's
I know what you're talking about. Saving capitalism.
Yeah, you know this. Did you watch that, Celine?
Yeah, so nice. Such a good documentary about the political system in America and how it really messed up their economy right now.
Yes, it's quite an eye opener. Because Sarah, do you watch stuff like that? Are you inclined in?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I just recently watched watched The Social Dilemma,
Oh,
which was
yun.
very
Yeah,
much
that's another one.
relevant to the world we are in, and the world. I mean, not just for advertising people, but especially for the for everyone. Actually, I wouldn't say regular folks, because everyone is on social media. Everyone is getting affected by this, which was actually a funny thing that I keep getting targeted by Rolls Royce. I'm like, okay,
Uy.
first of all, I think you guys are missing by a long shot. Nah, like, I'm not your target market. I don't know
Galing,
why.
ah.
Why
Si
you
Miguel,
think
puro
so?
mga porn ang lumalabas. Sa'yo, Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
Oo nga. I'd prefer the Rolls Royce. They said it's mga enlargement.
I mean, we don't know what you searched for, Mikkel, but
Oh man, I need to stop using the internet.
but yeah, I didn't know about that.
But that documentary, Social Dilemma, is so good, especially very apt for our topic tonight, because kailangan we should be aware of what we are seeing, diba? And we have to take everything by grain of salt.
I can compare social media, the phenomenon, with the environment. You know it's happening, but you can seem to pinpoint or can relate to it like in a more profound way. Kasi do you know what there's weather disturbances happening all over the world. Like, diba, biglang bagyo, and then the bagyo is getting worse and worse. Like, grabe, inundated tayo with rain. And then there are parts in the United States that they're flooded. And then, the ice caps are getting smaller. And then the water levels are rising. And you know that there are deforestation happening in Indonesia and in all different countries in South America. You know these things are happening. It's affecting our environment. But we just know it, but we don't really act on it because for some reason, it's the same thing with social media. It's affecting people, society, in a very profound way, but we are just going with the flow. It would appear, diba? We're letting it happen. The same thing with the environment. The same thing with endangered species. Animals who are slowly losing kumbaga nababawasan na yung population of like the orangutans in Borneo. Diba? Yung mga ganun mga nangyayari ngayon sa atin na people know about it, but are we doing something actively to make right? It's kind of sad.
Alam ko yung the documentary yan, David Attenborough's Planet Earth.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Good one.
Man.
I love him. Great.
You like that, Sarah?
I mean,
Galing, no?
super. I love watching Yuma Planet Earth, or I think something about the ocean as well. And it's just amazing how he narrates everything, and even the production value. It was, I mean, it's unbelievable how they capture all these things and how they capture the narrative of what's happening or what's going on. Better to your point, Ron, about we know what's happening around us. We know the different effects of climate change, and just like, even if we think that it's far away, it's actually where we are as well. Like, it's happening in our own backyard. But the thing is, I feel though, personally, and I wouldn't speak for everyone else, but I feel like while you want to help, you feel also helpless at the same time, and because you feel that yes, each and everyone's micro effort to help save the earth will then be the effects will be exponential, right? So me lessening my meat consumption or lessening my plastic usage. Here in Singapore, they use plastic still, but but
I get your point, Sarah. Talaga, if you enumerate everything, the effects of climate change, if we scrutinize what's been going on, like for example, we've been eating so much meat as a people, diba? Globally, we consume so much meat. And when you consume too much meat, that means the producers will have to, they'll have to raise more cows. And when
Yeah.
you do that in scale, it depletes. Kumbaga, you have to clear out certain forests. May mga ganun ginagawa
Yeah.
sa South America just
Yeah.
to raise cattle. And then when you raise cattle, their poo, their excrement,
Their farts.
The
diba,
cow
their
down.
farts, the
Yeah.
methane atmosphere
Yeah.
increases, which results to global warming. Yan ang mga
Yeah.
things that people don't recognize. That's why there are documentaries also that are encouraging people to go on a plant-based diet, because that's the most sensible thing to do. Because the
Mm.
more we consume meat, the more the demand is high. Then all these companies will have to produce more. They'll have to artificially produce more of their products, and
Mm.
you'll have to raise more cows and chickens, and that results into something disastrous to the environment.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
what
mm.
is the connection there, Sarah, Celine, Mikael, with our topic about corruption, lies, and uh, what's that again? Power is.
Oh, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. The connection.
there have been efforts in the states to come up with laws or to pass bills that will regulate or that will promote a plant-based diet to the population, which is increasingly becoming obese. Heart issues, is a regular thing in the United States. Diabetes is like one of the leading health issues for most Americans, and that's actually creating problems for their health system, which is also similar to a certain extent, to a lesser degree here in the Philippines. I mean, more people are getting obese because of the consumption of sugar consumption, and also the eating the wrong type of food. And when people do attempt to lobby Congress in the United States to enact to become healthier, preventive measures to improve the health of Americans, biglang big corporation will come in and pour in millions of dollars to lobby against those efforts. And then the congressmen, the senators who enact these laws are pressured by these lobbyists because they're the ones contributing to the elections. That's why
Mm.
nothing can get done. And that's why when you hear Trump sometimes, when he talks about, when you hear like 50% of the Americans saying that the environmental issue is a hoax. Diba? Parang, oh my gosh, and they're using the media to sort of like perpetuate or to disseminate lies about the environment. No, that's not true. This is a cycle that's happening to the world.
Ron, kahit COVID nga, ayaw nila maniwala ngayon, di ba? That's what's happening in the States, di ba? Trump had it, then Pence has to quarantine, but no, they're still going on their campaigns. They're having massive rallies.
Yeah.
So there's actually large chunks of the American population that don't believe in COVID, which is scary. Until today, there's still people who doubt it, which is for me what's petrifying. That maloloko sila ng ganun. But like I said, suits their interest. Even dito sa Manila, di ba, when they ban plastics, when we all have to drink from paper straws now, which is so difficult. When I was working in London, one of the first things I did, because I managed a mall, a train station there, we implemented one of the first like full-scale recycling processes there. And I remember one of the first things they taught me there when I was learning about the recycling, because we became one of the best recyclers there, is that it's better to recycle plastic than paper. So we actually encouraged more plastic usage for our food tenants than paper products. Kasi yung mga paper, kuwari yung carton ng quarter pounder or something, may mga pickles na and everything, it's harder for them to treat that. Whereas the plastic, they can just spray it, wash it, then they can recycle it. As long as you're segregating it properly, And then when it's picked up by the basura people, it's taken to the proper recycling plants. Yun lang, wala kasi dito sa Pilipinas, walang tiwala. So parang here, you don't actually see a lot of recycling plants and recycling things. It just became, let's just use paper. Okay, it's just easier, paper. And that parang lessens our burden, our conscience is clear. Kasi papel naman ginamit natin. Actually, that doesn't solve the problem. There's still a lot of paper waste. And a lot of the paper you use is not sustainable paper. A lot, may mga special biodegradable ones or all sorts. But, all of those plastic paper straws, paper cups, they all cut trees somewhere to meet the demand that was used to be plastic. And they're not recycling. Most of the stuff that you see thrown in the malls, they don't recycle. It's very rare, di ba? And you see, and the problem also kasi the people don't realize with recycling, di ba, sa mall may mga special basurahan, di ba? The minute you put the wrong basura in the wrong container, wala na, ano na yan, hindi mo na ma-recycle properly yung buong basurahan na yan. Kasi contaminated na siya. But nobody knows, nobody cares because we don't really educate people on how to recycle and the benefits. So when I lived in England, there's a certain day you put out your paper waste, there's a certain day you put out your plastic waste. Yung mga bahay lang so we really learned kasi may mga incentives for recycling. Dito sa Pilipinas, wala.
Di pa nangyayari. Celine, ilang beses ka pumunta sa bangko tapos nakita mo yung mga papel nakakalat sa floor. Hindi man lang ma-shoot sa basurahan.
Diba? Paka natin eh. But yun yung nakakatakot is we're not really that educated and we don't, it's, the average Pinoy doesn't really care much about the environment. You just look at the whole Manila Bay issue. Diba? Ang daming reklamo, ganyan. But it was such a cesspool of basura. They don't look at the water treatment facilities that were built, all sorts of other stuff that were built. Kasi it doesn't matter to them. But yung mga nakatira doon sa likod, yung mga esteros and stuff, you should see it. Before, when you go around Manila, yung mga waterways, kadiri talaga. But now, they're a lot better. But, unless you educate the people, babalik lang din yung basura na yan eh. Di naman nawala yung mga tao eh.
Kaya nga I brought up it's a pet peeve of mine when you go to the bank. Sen, how many times let's say 10 times you go to the bank, how many times do you see the paper the receipts coming from the ATM machine are actually inside the basket? Huh?
Almost always laging may kalat.
Pero i-check mo kung ano yung balanse kasi normally mga halos walang balanse yung natapon lang nila. Kung malaki yung balanse din sa ATM, tatago nila yan eh.
Sarah, nangyayari ba sa Singapore yan? Palo ba doon? Palo pag nagkalat ka doon? May lashing bang nangyayari? Ano bang punishment?
Well, only for guys, Joe. No, you can find, that's true though. Cleaning only applies to men.
Kinky pakinggan pagsisabi.
Yeah, you made that sound different, Sarah. I don't understand. Parang gusto ko lang magpapalo sa Singapore.
Anyway.
Medyo dirty-minded rin paminsan yung mga kausap mo dito eh. Okay. Okay. What you were saying?
There's a fine if you litter. So, like for example, spot fine of like $500. So whether you throw something like paper or whatever, you throw your cigarette butt or something like that, you get fined $500 if you get caught. And most likely you will because ang daming cameras, but there are also like undercover cops, so you don't really know who's the cop and not. You really won't see many cops walking around, but there will be some. They're dressed as civilians, so you have to be careful talaga what you do, and you have to be careful talaga where you also dispose of things, because I also heard of a story before na it's really interesting and fascinating because like basically the homeowner had received mail, and the mail had shots of from the camera showing that their helper put the trash in the wrong place. So now because of that they are fined $500. Parang ganun. So it's that kind of
kawawa yung maid dyan. Kaltas sa sweldo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, pero I guess it's also parang ignorance to Mikel's point. Then ignorance does not excuse you from from doing the right thing, or from the law, or from the rules, I guess. So you have to be really aware. You have to make yourself aware of what you need to do, and it's not just because it's the law, but it's also because we need to be aware that, okay, we need to put things where they should properly be placed, or need to throw things where they should be. I mean, my recycling bins na nga, so let's be more mindful of what we throw. Yeah, so yeah, that's the kind
Is
of
this
thing that.
something that Celine, do you miss that type of governance? Do you wish that the Philippines were more like Singapore, very strict? Talagang when they enforce the law, it's very stringent.
Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of miss it because maayos dun eh. 'Di ba? It's clean. At saka like, it's not that hard to follow, sa totoo lang. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Actually, when I was living there, I had a friend. Alam mo yung, 'di ba, na sa Singapore puro condos. And usually maraming, like, you have your own balcony, ganyan. It's a typical setup sa Singapore. So, he lives in his house, tapos nag-smoke siya. Meron siyang bad habit to throw the cigarette butt outside. Like, tinatapon niya lang sa balcony, like sa labas ng balcony niya. And may nagsumbong sa kanya, I think neighbor niya or something.
Right.
Sinumbong siya. Ayun, he got jailed.
Wow.
Not just fined.
Kasi three violations na siya.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Jailed.
Kulong.
For like 1 day. Kasi parang, I think he was supposed to be jailed for like 30 days or something like that.
Wow.
Tapos nag-appeal na lang siya sa court. So,
I wish they had that here.
Nag-appeal siya, pero he had to pay a lot. He had parang $3,000 or something like that.
Holy.
So,
Grabe 500 Singapore dollars is what? 2,500, ano ba? Magkano? Ano bang how much?
$500 would be like 25,000.
What? 25,000 pesos? So littering is 25,000 pesos yung fine? Oh shit.
pag nahuli ka, marami rin namang buhay, diba? Like, you can get away with it. Pero kung malas ka, mas lalo na sa Singapore, maraming sumbongero at sumbongera dyan. I remember when I used to live there, sensitive sila sa noise. Pinoy ako. So sometimes, may inuman sa bahay, di ba? Tapos, nagdala ng gitara, magja-jamming kayo doon. At mamayang konti, andyan na yung police. Telling you to,
pasaway pala to Celine sa violate pala to Celine sa Singapore.
Party house pala to Celine, grabe naman.
It's a typical there. So, sa kanila, nasanay na sila with the system. They really trust the enforcement. They themselves enforce the laws on each other. And, but that whole culture happened because the early days of Singapore, a lot of the rules were also, they're very strict, diba? With you, who was kind of like a dictator, diba? And but then when they came up with these rules, all of them, the people who lived in Singapore, agreed to it. They believed, they were all on board. They believed that it was good for their country, so they stuck with it.
That's good.
I mean, it's an ongoing discussion even right now in their political area. But anyways, back to one good thing about Singapore that I love is the way they do their waste management.
Okay.
They use incinerators. What they do, their recycling plants do is they're able to reduce the waste by 90%.
Wow. Tapos walang pollutant na byproduct when they incinerate?
No.
Wala.
No?
You should watch yung Sinas. Video covering how Singapore does their recycling, and they even have a whole island made from the waste.
Wow.
Wow. Why? Hey, we do waste very well here. We even take the waste of the other countries.
Welcome.
We're so good with waste here that Canada sends its waste here, Korea sends its waste here.
Itong recent, Mikel, US. Huh?
They all send their waste here kasi feeling nilang galing natin sa waste management.
Akala kasi sila patapon tayo, pero hindi.
Na alam nila diretso ng Smoky Mountain.
Sabi ni Jing Andresa Bamberg, one sign kapag itong politiko ay inaatupag ay ipagtanggol kapwa niya politiko imbis na itrabaho niya sa bayan ng atupagin.
There's honor among thieves.
Yeah, Jose Martin Guazon Gustillo says, paano malaman kung ang tao corrupt? Nakaupo sa pwesto, ano pa? Okay.
It's like they say, Ron, how do you know somebody's lying when their lips are moving? But that applies to politicians most of the time.
That's true. Alam mo yung ano?
That's a good actually, that's a good way, no? Like, parang anong tawag doon? Yung they change the yung
eye movement nila.
They deflect the issue.
Yes. I think may certain direction yung eyes mo when you're inventing things in your head. Right ba? Right ba?
Hey, Ron, stop giving advice. My wife is watching. God damn.
Sana biglang napaisip sabi niya, teka.
Okay.
The next time I talk to my wife, it will be like this. Don't look at my eyes.
Dapat kay Mikel. Dapat nakagana ka lang, Mikel, oh.
Pag tuminsan kasi is logic. So, based on truth. Pero right side kasi is creative, so nag-iimbento.
What about yung sa taas?
Yung nakataan. Pero may access ka eh.
May something.
I'm waiting for God to give me the answer. Pag sa taas, divine yan. Divine. So Celine, basta I always have to look left. Okay, so that's the punch to remember. I'm taking notes.
Taking notes.
To all our viewers, pag kinausap yung asawa nyo, look to the left always. Okay.
Alric Kahukom says, I read an article years ago that Netherlands was so efficient at waste management that they imported waste.
Wow.
Now that's just showing off.
Yeah, that's just showing off.
Flexing now, Netherlands. Weird flex.
Sarah?
Weird flex.
Yeah, weird.
No, but you know what's frustrating sometimes with government kasi, I think there are certain people from government who actually go out of their way and look for best practices from all over. But the thing is, when you try to bring best practices here, like for example, if you find out that New Zealand is the most efficient in terms of bureaucracy, so New Zealand, when you apply for a business permit, instantly, like, doesn't take an hour for you to get a business permit. Parang you can do it online. And they're so efficient that way, and they're actually in a list that in a website that rates countries when it comes to efficiency sa bureaucracy. Tayo, if you introduce something new here, first thing that the person who has the power to decide will ask is, even of course hindi niya sasabihin, sa isip-isip niya, paano ako kikita dyan? Diba?
Ron, kasi every step of the way may kita dyan. Imagine, if you have to fill out 10 forms, each piece of paper, somebody, who's in charge of the stationery procurement in the municipio? Lahat yan, pati ball pen, everything, every staple. The more you use, the more you're encouraged to kasi may porsyento sila dyan, every step of the way. Diba?
Did you know, example LTO for dito sa Pilipinas. Alam niyo ba niya mas stricto na ngayon para before you can get a license, Mikel? Did you know that?
I've been praying for that for years. I hope they follow through.
Yep. You have to attend a seminar. As in, it's talagang...
Ron, yan ba yung mga seminar na optional? Ilang beses na kasi ako na-offeran ng I remember I was visiting here once when I still lived in England. I was visiting and I needed to renew my Filipino license. Siyempre yung mga fixer ng time na yun. Nagulat ako kasi I wasn't, I just wanted it to be quick, di ba? Pag upo ko, nakasagot na yung test paper. It's like, wow. I was making it kwento to my friends in England kasi sa England, the hardest thing to get is your driver's license. It's the hardest thing to get. Because you really have to pass so many tests. Anyway, but sa Pilipinas, pag upo ko, nandun na yung mga sagot. Tapos, I had to do the drug test, and I could, the things, I wasn't taking drugs. I couldn't pee because I had just peed. Nobody told me I had to take a drug test. So the girl gave me a 2-liter bottle of Coke. Sabi, sige sir, inumin mo na lang yan. And I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, after 2 minutes, nabwisit na siya. Sabi, sige, bigyan mo na ako lang. Like, I was like $200 or something. Okay ka na pasado sa drug test. I was like, oh my God, napakamot ako. I was like, what's happening? So if they're really doing that, I'm happy, Ron, because at least with the road safety, that's so important.
It's super strict now. I just renewed.
That's good.
Renewed. I had to apply again because I missed kasi diba you have to renew it's like when your birthday, every time your birthday.
5 years na ngayon.
Yeah.
5 years na ngayon, Sarah.
Yeah. So the last time that I was supposed to renew, I was a day late. So they said, okay, you have to apply again as if you never had a license before.
Oh my gosh.
So, but in the day and age of no fixers, I had to, talagang sit there, wait, and which is right. I had to answer the test, but gusto ko yung may bitterness I had to answer the test. But but just like Mikel, I had the answers already before. Pero this time around, they ask you English or Filipino, so but eventually what they gave me was Filipino, so I had to suck it up and literally really like, oh shoot. Pero I passed naman. I passed naman. I barely made it.
Nakaya ka, Sarah, kung hindi ka pumasa.
Super
tayo. Kung ipa-test natin lahat ng mga bus driver, pari-test natin sila, pa-driving test, tsaka kahit na yung written test.
We'll have no bus drivers left.
70% bagsak yung mga hayop na yan.
Walang maiwan na bus. Walang tatakbong bus dyan for sure. Even the truck drivers, Ron, mga truck, di ba? That's why in other countries, pag truck driver ka, ang laki ng sweldo mo. So like in Australia and across Europe, if you drove those big trucks to deliver freight and all that, your salary is huge because it's such a skill. They don't just give that driver's license to anybody. But here, my golly, yung professional license, oh my gosh. Anybody can get that. And you put them in charge of this very big vehicle that is so dangerous, diba?
Yeah.
Kaya nga, people keep on complaining about mga pasaway drivers, yung tinatawag nilang ano yung term na, yung favorite term
kamote.
Kamote
driver.
Favorite term ni James Deacon, mga kamote driver.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the term kamote, Sarah, Celine? You know why it's kamote? Because when they get into an accident, they keep on making kamot their heads. Sir, ayaw mag-break.
Yun naman palagi na yun, nawala ng preno or something. It's always the same. It's always the same excuse, diba?
we said, sabi ni Alric Kuhukum again, not necessarily you need to know the context. I think the right or left-handedness is a factor too.
Oh, come on. Alric, can you help me? Give me the real answer here. Come on, Alric, help a brother out.
Kasi ako, I learned that from an NLP class.
NLP class? What's that?
What's NLP?
neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh.
Okay, that sounds legit. That sounds legit.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna
We'll
stick
believe
with
that.
your answer there, Celine.
Celine, kunyari lang yun, pinoprofile na tayo niyan eh.
Well,
Oh,
actually, yung wife ko kasi she knows when I'm lying. Well, I very rarely lie, but she knows when I'm lying because I just she'll ask me and I'll just start laughing. that's my tell. So I'll just immediately, if I start laughing, wala na. Game
Bagsak
over.
ka agad, Mikel.
That's the hardest part.
Hindi ka na kailangan pala, Mikel, tawag nito, polygraph test. Pag
Hindi na, tatawa lang ako bigla. That's why I have to be honest. Pag tinanong na, nagagandaan ka ba dun? Yes. It's better to be honest na lang.
Yeah, may mga tao talaga na mahirap magsinungaling, no? Si Celine was talking about partially about guys who lie. Sarah, have you had any experiences with guys who lie? And how do you know that they're lying?
I don't think so. I don't think it's. I mean, I just know.
Wow.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that they're all honest and whatever. But you can tell it. You can just tell by the way they answer things.
Really?
Na parang, it kind of, it's not always a straight answer, or you can put two and two together. Nah, you can tell, okay, something's not right. I think it's also the female instinct. No, Celine?
yeah. That's exactly what I said kanina.
But
Yeah.
have you met a sociopath? A sociopath doesn't express any emotion at all when
Or
they lie.
remorse.
Diba? Diba? Have you encountered anybody like that in your lifetime?
Like somebody who doesn't have. Oh, should I look right? Oh my god, I have to look left.
Walang remorse. Straight in the eye. Guys who can look you straight in
Present
the eye and
company
say
excluded,
things.
okay?
Huh?
Hindi present company excluded. Hindi kami kasama ni Rod dito sa mga
Sa social
yeah, of course.
Okay. So I haven't met any angel.
Ganon.
I know. I was just watching this YouTuber and she's saying all men lie.
Hey, don't listen to her, Celine. Whatever she's saying, it's nonsense.
I mean, in various, ways, I guess. Parang, babe, do I look fat in this? And then,
Wow, yeah. Well, we're just, being nice. But what's the name of that YouTuber, Celine? I-report ko yan sa YouTube.
But let me ask you this: Do you think a world would be better off if people didn't lie? You think? I mean,
Ron,
Wow.
this weekend, I watched with my wife and my kids The Invention of Lying.
yeah.
We watched it already before, but
It's a really
we
good
just
movie.
we just rewatched it this weekend, and that's the whole premise of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Diba?
Great
So,
concept.
exactly. So I mean, you have to see. Like your question, Ron, would you be happier if nobody had lied at all?
Yeah, I can imagine like meeting a person for the first time and they tell you in your face, "You look like an asshole."
Yeah.
Or you're ugly. Pangit mo.
Di ba, parang,
Di ba? Sakit sa damdamin.
I hate your shirt. Don't you have money to buy shoes? Yung mga ganun. Di ba, parang,
Spare my feelings na lang. I mean, you don't have to lie. You just have to not say it na lang, diba?
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
lying. Just don't say it.
Don't
Don't be
say
an
anything.
asshole. Just because you're not lying, don't be an asshole.
I see a comment from Lawrence.
ang sabi ni Lawrence, ito.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
All
Yeah.
men, all people lie.
Lawrence, this is why I like you. This is why we are friends,
I
Lawrence.
love that statement. You brought me back to the message of unity, and I like that.
Yan.
That comment.
Advertising talaga to si Celine. Galing
Lawrence, dahil dyan, Lawrence, talagang pro-constitutional reform na ako for life. You've got me on your side, Lawrence. Don't worry about it.
Interesting question from Alec kahukom. What if your wife or girlfriend asks you kung tumaba na siya?
Just leave the room. There's no way to answer that. Just leave the room. Just run.
Alam
Run
mo,
for your life.
medyo mahirap yan. Mahirap talaga yung situation yun. If your girlfriend asks you or your wife asks you, mataba na ba ako?
You say no, of course not. You say, of course not. I love you the way you are. But you know who's really good with that? The kids. Like kids, they're just so good. So like my wife, she's trying to go on a diet and exercising. So she told us a weeks ago that she was gonna go on a diet. And my 9-year-old called her out like a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, you said you were gonna go on a diet. Why are you eating all this food?" But at the same time, like so she started now, she's been doing all this treadmilling and dieting the last week or so. And like the younger boy, he's been going around saying, Mom's diet's really working. She's losing weight, her exercise, and she's so happy now. And she's like, and he's just genuine. Like if he'll call you out, that's what kids. That's the beauty of kids. They'll tell you how things are. And that's what they don't sugarcoat. They're really sweet about. I mean, it's hard to get mad at a 9-year-old for telling you you're fat. But I'm surprised he's still alive after he told her that she wasn't doing her diet. But obviously, may favoritism dito sa bahay. If I said to her, "Sab, kamusta yung diet mo? Parang di mo tinutuloy." I'm sure you'd be finding me dead somewhere, Ron.
You have to be worried if your girlfriend or your wife ask you if they're fat. Kasi it's a trick question, really. Kasi if you say kasi may consequences yung mga sagot mo sigurado.
Have you been asked that before, Ron?
Me? All the time. Yeah.
How do you get away? How do you answer that?
Ako?
Sociopath yan si Ron. Bolero yan. Kaya-kaya niya.
I can look them straight in the eye and say, "You're sexy to me, baby."
Sampalin ako nasa...
100%.
Yeah, pwede ako mag-politician sigurado. Siguro kailangan dapat kagatin ko niyo yung hamon sa akin na tumakbo na ako sa Kongreso sa 2022.
There you go, Ron. I think you're perfect.
Yeah, right. Actually, it's easy to catch me lying about something kasi you can see it in the eyes if a person lies, diba?
I don't know. There's some really good people. There's people who are really good at lying. They're really good. Like they get away with a lot of stuff. Like even at work or something. Like sometimes you catch people. They're trying red-handed na nagnanakaw and everything, and they will like look you dead in the eye and say, "No, it wasn't me." You could have CCTV footage of them stealing money or doing whatever, and they'd look you straight in the eye and say, "Sir, that's wrong. That's not me." Like what?
That's a good basis, Michaela. Kunyari, kasi it's 2022. Let's go back to what the real reason is why we're talking about lying, power, corruption. It's really about 2022 because this is a very critical juncture in our country. We need to elect officials in 2022 that will continue the reforms. So let me ask you, Sarah, same thing I asked Celine. I'm going to bring up a name, and then you have to rate them from 1 to 10, from scale to 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, to give them a grade on authenticity. So
authenticity, hindi poginess authenticity, hindi
Kasi alam mo, kung sa tingin mo yung tao sinungaling, dapat huwag mong botohin yun.
Yeah.
Diba? So, Manny Pacquiao.
Oh God. Okay, wait. Authenticity.
Yeah, 1 to 10, 10 highest.
I would say 6.
6? Talaga? Manny
Oh,
Pacquiao?
that's
Yeah. I mean, there's
Why?
kind of
What's your reservation with Manny Pacquiao?
I'm not sure if you are thinking that that's high or if that's low, but I will justify my answer a little bit. Because I think that although I'm not sure if he's a great politician or if he's good, I've never really seen him in action, but I know that he is a philanthropist, that he he likes helping people out as well. Like he especially I believe that he has that within him na parang I didn't have much when I started, and ito yung puhunan ko talaga, like my boxing was everything, and it gave me the life that I have now. And without that opportunity, without that training, people won't have, like, their lives won't change if they don't really don't have anything that helps them boost them. So from what I know, I think Manny does that, and he helped his fellow countrymen in helping them start their lives or start their careers that way. But I'm not so sure if he has been kung nakain na siya ng sistema, in a sense that obviously, even if, because my belief is that even if you're a good person from the beginning, that you had your principles intact from the beginning, that you've had all good intentions and whatnot, no matter what kind of person you are, where you're coming from. I know it's kind of laughable now. Okay, he's an athlete and then he became a politician, or if this person started as a lawyer and then became a politician. I feel like everybody, if they start off with good intentions, at some point they will get tempted to do things, or they will get eaten up by the system, that they will have to play the game at some point, or they will have to play the game to survive, or they will have to play the game to see their plans through. So even if, I mean, it's all in the shows that you watch, diba? Parang I have a plan for this, and it may be a great plan, but this plan will not see the light of day if I don't grease some of the way. If I don't do this thing for this person or that thing for that person. But my plan is really super nice and good, and it will help a lot of people. But there are a lot of roadblocks, and I have to kind of deal with those roadblocks. And that doesn't mean I don't have good intentions, but that also means I've dabbled into corruption, that I've dabbled into the game, which people will say it's evil or it's wrong, but you kind of had to do it. So that's why
it's a six.
Really hard to tell. Yeah, it's really hard to tell if a politician is 100% authentic in every in every way, because even if you put the nicest person with the greatest plans, with the greatest intentions for the country, they will probably have had to lie or do shady things on the side just to make things happen. Yeah.
With what you just said, are you saying that if I were to mention other politicians, you would grade them the same way,
Well,
with the same?
I don't know. There would be shadier
people?
There would be shadier ones for sure. But there are, yun lang, parang mahirap kasi judge si Manny Pacquiao. I mean, it's so easy to judge that he's not full bred politician from the get-go. But I'm sure his intentions in the beginning, at least, would be authentic. I think I'm just giving it the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but
I don't want Sarah to be my teacher because she doesn't give good grades or high grades. I'm 6 yung pinakamataas niya.
Bro, ang taas ng bar. Taas
ng bar ni Sarah, ibang klase. Hirap to maging
teacher. So you're saying that you think that Manny would have to, I mean, deserves a more authentic grade than that. I mean, like a higher grade.
For me, Manny's like one of the more authentic politicians out there. Because he doesn't pretend to be like knowledgeable on everything, or he doesn't pretend he cares. He really does care, because his actions show that he cares. Diba?
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
A large chunk of his wealth goes to helping the poor in Sarangani province, in where he, in his constituents. So he's built houses for the poor. So he really walks the talk. So that's why maybe if I were to grade him, if Sarah's a 6 would be the equivalent, parang To me, siguro, he would be like an 8. Ikaw, Miguel?
Manny Pacquiao, I mean, I love the guy. The guy can do no wrong in my eyes. I mean, I'm just so biased though, because like for me, he's just like a breath of fresh air. No, he's not like the others. And we know where he got his money, which helps. But it's not to say he's perfect. He has a lot of flaws, I'd say. But in terms of the authenticity, I'd give him at least an 8 because we know where he came from. He's pretty solid with his roots, and most of the people who know Manny Pacquiao will say that he's not mayabang.
Yeah, so low, down to earth. How about you, Celine? Same thing? Or 6 ka rin ba? Yung mga taga Singapore ba, 6 rin? Yeah, parehas ko scoring.
Yeah, my score is also 8. 8.
Okay.
Actually, even 9. From an authenticity standpoint.
Standpoint.
And because of that, I'm making my grade 7.
Wow, tumaas ng isa.
No, kasi Ron, because I was preparing not to give other politicians a 2 or a 3 in terms of
so 6 is already her high.
I was already thinking of, like the other ones na I would definitely give like even 1. Alam mo yun? Kasi parang I really doubt their authenticity on a highest level.
Sige,
so,
test natin yung grading system ni Sarah or yung kanyang perception. How about Panfilo Lacson?
Oh. Delikado yan. Joke. Right away. Alam mo na. 0. Joke. No, but I mean, I don't know the guy well enough to say, to judge him.
I can tell you worry though.
Yeah. But obviously, I've heard of things, and obviously, especially in the 90s or in the early 2000s, yeah, I would say.
So you have that image, no? That he's carrying that around, no? People still think of him. He has really shed off that image of how he was portrayed in the 90s and 2000 when he was still, ano ba yung position in the medyo controversial din si Lacson, di ba?
Medyo. I mean, I value my life also, so I won't say anything.
Yeah.
Can we ask about the more harmless ones?
Oh,
Si Celine, minute yung microphone.
Mahirap na, baka nire-record na niya na rin yung voice ko or something.
I mean, if people think that he can actually wiretap you as you speak, di ba? We talk about him. J.
Edgar Hoover daw of the Philippines yan. So, for me, I love all politicians. If anybody is watching all the politicians, we love you all.
Yeah.
Keep stealing from us. We're cool with it. Don't worry, we love you.
Well,
love you guys.
Yeah, politicians.
Si Ron lang kaaway nyo. Si Ron lang.
Politicians will have like, dapat hindi sila onion skinned. They have to be. I think most of them naman understand that they have to face scrutiny because they're public servants. So
anybody in the public eye, Ron, has to be able to take scrutiny, and especially if you're a politician, because technically you're working for your constituents, diba? Technically you're serving them, so they can grade you. They can tell you they're unhappy. It's not like an artista kasi. It's just they're doing their thing. That's their craft. That's their art or whatever. They're paid to do it, but a politician is supposed to be delivering something to you. So you can criticize and you have to be able to take it. Yeah. I think most of them, honestly, they don't care, Ron. As long as they're getting their money, you can say whatever you want. They're all rich.
See, Nelia Ortiz says, Pacquiao 8, Lacson 3.
7 na talaga si Pacquiao.
7
na kayo. 7 na kayo. Pero so that's the highest na that she's gonna give. Ron, for the love of God, don't ask her to grade us.
Sige. Testing natin.
Don't do that.
10, 11 pa nga eh.
Oh,
Yun.
talaga? Oh, yeah.
See, it's true. All people lie. It's not just men, you see?
Tama po si Lawrence, true.
I don't know if I'm delusional, but siguro most of the time I tell the truth. I think, Ikaw, Mikael.
Well, there's a thing because I'm a stickler for the truth, no, and honesty and whatever. I always tell everybody, even in Santians, ever since day one, I said, there's never a reason to steal or to lie. If you steal 1 peso or 1 million, it makes no difference to me. It's because there's a breach of trust already. So if you need anything, you can always come to us, and So we try to make that go around the whole company, the culture. Like even if you make a mistake, you have to be able to be open enough to come to me and tell me, "Hey, I made a mistake." And we say, "No worry, we'll figure it out. We'll fix it." But the truth is very important. So I mean, I wouldn't say I lie, but there are times where I just will choose not to say something bad. Like why? There's everybody has somebody they don't like. Na encounter mo.
Do you
Diba?
sugarcoat?
I would. It depends. Really, you have to cater it. There is always going to be somebody you're going to encounter on a day to day. Like you're with your friends, somebody walks up and says, "Oh God, I hate this guy." But you're not going to go out and say, "Oh, I hate this guy." That's a different type of no. You're not going to lie. You just don't want to come out and tell everybody I hate this guy. But for me, kasi almost all lies come back to haunt you.
Ikaw, Celine,
Diba?
do you tell the person straight in their face if you don't like them?
No. It depends
Oh my God.
on the situation. No, absolutely not. But as much as possible, I try to be honest. If it's very necessary to say something truthful but uncomfortable, I will find a way to say it in the nicest possible way.
Sige nga, sige. Give me an example, Celine. Like if you, like for example, the person that the person is let's say my BO. How do you tell the person?
Good question, Ron. That's a very good question.
Yeah, how do you tell them without saying it directly? Maybe.
Ba't iwan ka lang ng deodorant sa table?
Spray ka muna.
Encountered anything like that, Celine, in your life?
Yeah, but I mean,
Celine, parang,
I mean, unless that person asks me, like, do I
Yeah.
say? If that person
Yeah.
asks me, then of course I'll say, well, you can probably use some deodorant or
those words talaga exactly. Talaga sabihin
depends kung gaano ka close. But I'll say,
Mm.
I'll be honest with you. I do smell something unpleasant.
But, Celine, let's say, example, what if it's somebody who works for you, works in your team, and then the boss says to you, "Oh, you have to tell him he stinks." How would you do that?
Well, actually, yeah. So that's actually kind of my job right now. Like,
HR ka pa naman.
I have to talk to people and confront them about their
Okay.
issues. Yeah.
Let's sit down. Let's have a chat.
Let's have a chat. By the way, here's some deodorant. Nothing to do with our chat, but here's some deodorant.
Let's go to Watson's for a chat. Oh, look. Nivea.
Ikaw, Sarah, may nakadate ka na ba na medyo unpleasant?
No, but sorry, what was the question? Unpleasant.
May nakadate ka na ba unpleasant? May something unpleasant na characteristic na you wish you could tell them straight?
There's so many unpleasant things that one way or another I probably said it, but sometimes kasi, like I'm normally a person who tends to just observe and then keep it in until like, okay, you know what? I can't stand it. I'm gonna tell you that it's like this. But yeah, I mean, again, it's hard. I mean, it's also like social etiquette, diba? Not to be rude or anything. Nah, you don't really present the information to them. But to the BO thing that you asked me, we had a company party before, and we had an office mate or a teammate who really really um stank. Like pagpasok niya pa lang ng office, alam na, like amoy mo na. And it really, really bothered everyone, especially the women. I don't know why guys don't really get bothered by that. For some reason, they all hug each other and they know he stinks, but whatever. But girls the women are just like, oh my god. There we had a party and then we wanted to let him know that, hey dude, at least diba, try to change your clothes. So what the one of the guys said, like, hey, I think we need to dress up for this party. I think we need to change our shirts and dress up for this party. And then the guy with the BO was like, no, 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 I think I'm fine. And then the other guy was like, no, 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 dude, we have to change our party. We need to. So he was really trying his best, to no avail. It didn't work. So there was no happy ending there.
The pitfalls of
Trying to be nice.
and decorum, etiquette. How to
Pero
be
alam mo, may naisip akong experience. Kasi nung nag-work ako sa Singapore, syempre, iba-ibang kultura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oo. So, meron akong isang office mate.
May ba sa spicy yan?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Sibuyas.
Sibuyas. Okay.
Pero kasi, I know that he's clean. Actually, he's very clean. Pero yun na talaga yung amoy because of the diet, di ba? It's really innate. And I know na nag-effort siya to not smell that way, but can't help it. That's really just how it is. No matter what you do, and he uses like a perfume.
Perfume doesn't mask it. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Strong perfume parang medyo mag-iba. I mean, I appreciate it.
Are you talking about the same person here, Sarah, Celine?
Probably. Do you know? It's a group private chat.
That was Celine.
But you just have to respect because that's their culture, diba? And if you really can't take the smell, try to avoid na lang.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
So,
dodge
iniiwasan ka ni Sarah at ni Celine, ibig sabihin may problema ka.
Yeah.
Okay, so another personality. I'm thinking, okay, ito, Sara Duterte. Celine, you start.
I don't know. She's scary to me.
Scary can be a good thing though, because obviously she's not asking anything negative about herself.
Baka scary rating na lang, joke.
Oh, malapit naman Halloween eh.
What's so scary about Sarah? About Mayor Inday, Celine?
Well, she's a fighter, that's for sure.
What do you? Yeah.
Well, I guess in that sense, she's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
She's being true to herself. She's not trying to make herself look good. So I guess from an authenticity standpoint, it's quite authentic.
So what's that? What's your score?
I don't know, maybe 7 also.
7 also. How about you, Sarah?
I second what Celine said. Yeah. Um, the fact that she's pretty true to herself, and if she's disappointed, and you can see it, and she doesn't, there's no um whatever, she doesn't care what people think of her, like in terms of image or something like that. But I think integrity is what I would say, the word to describe her, like to use with her. So I guess siguro, like, yeah, in my score chart, my very high. That's probably 6. 6 or 7.
7, Karen. How about you, Mika?
Sarah Duterte, I love her. I'd give her at least a 9.
Wow.
I wouldn't mess with her, but yeah, I'd give her a 9.
Yeah, actually,
She's
same
good.
here. Maybe I'm biased. I know the family. I know her personally. I know especially her brother. So I understand their personality as a family. They're definitely not the type who would bullshit. If you
Well,
don't
yeah,
like,
yung tanong naman is authenticity, diba? So
yeah.
she's fairly. I mean, we're not saying we like her or dislike her. It's just that I think she's fairly true to herself. She even doesn't listen to her dad sometimes, diba? And
Oh
she'll
yeah.
go against the whatever and speak her mind. Sometimes too much, but that's it. I think she's fairly authentic for sure.
So we're actually in the 1 hour 50th minute of our program. So we have 10
Good
minutes.
Lord, we've been talking that long. Pati deodorant na pag-usapan na natin.
Hindi kasi, diba, from the smallest instances where honesty, corruption, lies are happening, all the way to a bigger picture like politics, societal problems actually come from these very basic things. We always promote discipline. Actually, Celine, Sarah, the campaign of the DILG called Disiplina Muna, and now Bida ang May Disiplina. It started from the experience of my boss, Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya, when he went to Singapore. He attended a government seminar, and the Singaporean government, they were very proud to present Singapore in that light. That Singapore is known for discipline. The culture of discipline is really like something that they are really proud of. And when he came back with renewed vigor, in a way that he wanted to sort of come up with a campaign that will be a starting point for cultural change here in the Philippines. If you put it together, like one thing I noticed when I did a little survey, like an informal survey before, it wasn't even a survey. I just put up a video on why Filipinos are more disciplined when they're abroad, and when they're here in the Philippines, they're not as disciplined. And there were so many comments. I actually got like 3 million views for that video, 35,000 shares. Comments were like 100,000 plus. So talagang grabe engagement. So I realized that there must be something there that the Filipinos like us recognize that we lack. And we recognize it, but no one has actually started something to make it more concrete. Like, like a push for a better Philippines by changing the mindset of the individual Filipino. And that's why my boss, DILG, came up with that campaign.
I love it.
You like it?
I really appreciate it. This one thing that I really noticed when I was living in Singapore is that the government, they're very, very pushy in the things that they implement, the programs that they implement in media. They're very, very visible. Like if you, they have a lot of public service announcements everywhere. Like they're in all the trains. Like for example, they have a anti-dengue campaign. So the anti-dengue campaign is everywhere. It's in the cinemas. Like if you watch movies,
yes,
commercial every like before the movie starts. there's like 5 commercials about that anti-dengue
This is in Singapore, right? In Singapore.
in Singapore. And then it's on TV as well, and it's in all the public spaces. So if you ride the train, it's there. You're in the bus stop, it's there. In the buses, it's there. So ano sila, super active, and even in social media, they're very active.
Yeah.
With really reinforcing whatever programs that they have, you know.
Yeah.
That I wish the government did more here.
Yeah, well, the government's trying. Obviously, the only agency that has the mandate to do such things is the Presidential Communications Operations Office, the PCOO, because they're the media arm of the government. It's trying its best to sort of like rise to the occasion, because prior to that, the PCOO is not really a well-known agency, right? Most Filipinos don't know what its function is. And the thing about this president, he doesn't really care about PR. So, and I think we can do more as a government to promote values, or even the minimum health standards we're promoting right now for bidang may disiplina muna. It's starting to pick up. And why this is related to the topic tonight, it's related because I think corruption, lies, and deceit, something to do with character. Character of a person pretty much dictates their actions. And if the character of your politicians, probably they were raised to be too competitive. Maybe to them this is about material gain, about getting gaining more power. And if you had the discipline, actually, most, I'd like to think most people who are disciplined are very modest and humble, right? So if if your character is that way, and each Filipino, especially the young ones, develop that type of character where discipline will evolve into integrity, into all the different values that are needed to become better citizens, will be a better country 10 years down the line. That's why it's very important that we push for something like this. And obviously, it's not just going to be about changes for each individual. It has to be systemic as well. That's why people from Correct Movement or the Constitutional Reform Campaign, they have to be heard that the system need to be changed as well, so that we can create the environment for change, for real change. So Sarah, Celine, what's your big takeaway from our conversation tonight as we end our talk here in Istoryang Futbolero?
Wear deodorant and look to the left at all times.
Not even your eyes, talagang you look to the left. Your whole head.
Conscious na yan si Mikel pagkausap si Sam.
Oo nga, I need to. She's watching pa naman. She's watching pa naman. So,
so Sarah, let's start with you. What's your big takeaway from our conversation tonight?
Yeah, that you should be more. But I think it's all about being authentic and being real, and without having to you don't really have to lie, but you also don't really have to, again, forget about manners and social etiquette. So, but at the same time, how the basic things that you do every day actually show what kind of person you are, or affect a lot of the people around you as well. So if you lie about the smallest things, you can lie about the biggest things as well.
Oh, yeah.
If you lessen your consumption, or if you do little things to help save the earth, then it will also affect the surroundings exponentially. So I think it's more the little things that you do in your daily life that can affect you and others around you. I thank you, Val.
Yeah, that's perfect, Sarah. You know what? You can start by making sure you follow traffic rules. Like
Yeah.
when you it's 2 a.m, you drive down, say, an empty road, and then you reach the intersection and there's a red light. Don't drive through it. Diba? Simple lang na bagay. And even if no one is watching, if you do the right thing, it builds character.
Yep.
How about you?
Well, first of all, this was a really great conversation. It's so nice to see Sarah. So
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
May
Me
mga, mga pretty girls na kami ni Mikel. Diba? May mga pretty girls na kami kasama.
Hey, I don't know. I'm pretty too. How dare you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I also enjoyed all the comments from our viewers. It's been a really interactive chat. So thanks, guys. And I hope for the next time it will be the same type of engagement, like a lot of comments and opinions from our viewers, because it really encourages us to discuss more freely and also understand if you guys are resonating with the conversations that we're having. So yeah, and thank you always, Ron and Mikel, for
Thank
having
you.
Thank
Sure.
you. Yes.
I hope
me here.
this becomes a regular Wednesday thing. Sarah and Celine together. Diba?
You know.
So cool.
High five.
Yeah.
My takeaway would be I'll use a couple of cheesy lines and phrases.
Go ahead. We're all cheesy here, Celine.
The first one is, the truth will set you free.
Of course.
Yon.
Diba? I mean, always be truthful, because if you're true to yourself and you're true to others, whether you'll be judged for it, I think people will appreciate you by being who you are. And that's why, diba, there are these personalities that we scored today, and regardless, diba, whether they they look pretty or brusque or what, whatever reputation that they have, their authenticity shines through, and people, even me, or who's apolitical or not really very close to what's going on in the government, even I can see through them with very little information. So I think that goes for everyone. And the second cheesy line is, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yon.
Diba? Yun. If you want things to change, start with yourself.
Is that Gandhi quote?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ayun. And last, I have my angel oracle cards.
Yeah.
So I just want to pull one message from our angels for all the viewers of this show. Angels, please give us message of abundance. Okay. The message is, do the work. It is not enough to dream or pray. You've also got to take the positive action steps that you are being divinely guided to take. Consistently working on your priorities will make them flourish like a lush flower garden. So do the work, guys.
Do the work.
Yon.
From
Sarah,
our
sobrang work na ngayon si Sarah eh. Pero yes. Definitely.
and then
Have to do the work.
so, may I plug, please, my music?
Sure.
Scrubbing Good Vibrations. Search me on Spotify, on YouTube. Music to heal your mind and your heart and your soul.
Wow.
And if you need to meditate, I also have meditation videos, one for each day of the week. It's in my YouTube channel, Celine Veloso.
So cool.
Whoa.
Yes, we
Thank you.
definitely encourage people to do that. Because Sarah, do you meditate, Sarah?
I do all sorts of stuff to kind of cleanse my mind. Although, yeah, I mean, like, I have a certain routine when I end my day, and it's like it's the same thing every day. And I listen to the sleep playlist on Spotify, so it actually helps me, like, because your mind just keeps working and keeps talking, keeps thinking of things. So you just kind of want to relax yourself by doing that. And yeah, so also putting your phone on DND, do not disturb. So sleep playlist and do not disturb. Having a good bath at the end of the day, warm bath. I mean, it's just all to help yourself reset for the next day. So yeah, I believe in that.
Si Mikel,
So,
ano,
check out your Spotify playlist, Celine.
yun. Si, cool. It's nice to get people together, diba, Mikel? Si Mikel, meron siyang way to meditate, and it has something to do with using a glass and with beverage.
Yeah, with wine or gin, it helps center me.
What's your big takeaway, Mikel?
First, again, thank you, Celine and Sarah, for joining these two fools tonight. We really appreciate it. Most of our viewers, din yung nakita may ibang mga comment dyan nung lalo na dumating yung mga babae. Like, oh, interesting na bigla yung show nila, Sir Ron. So, obviously, it's not just your beauty, obviously your insights also, your positivity. It's really, really nice because sometimes we're very deep in the show about politics. So it's just a breath of fresh air. And again, thank you to all the viewers, all the comments. We really like it. We say it all the time na from all over the world, from different countries. It's so heartwarming that you take your time out of your day to listen to us. Hopefully, we can make a difference. Even kung mapatawa lang namin kayo today, happy na ako. And if you learn something from Celine, Ron, and Sarah, obviously, that's even a bonus. In terms of the stuff we discussed, so, truthfulness is very, very important. Easier said than done for most people, but just remember, kahit anong mga sinungaling nyo or lies, it eventually will come back to haunt you. And normally the small lies become bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just gets worse. So you just always try to be as honest as you can. Even with things like we tell my kids na, why you get a low grade in school, don't lie. Just come to me right away and say, hey, Dad, this was my score. And then we can see, okay, what are we going to do about it? Yung mga ganun na type na usapan instead of just scaring people all the time. For our politicians, well, it's very rare to find any really authentic ones. You can ask me to grade all day long, mahihirapan tayo dyan. But just vote for the ones who you think will make most of the good difference in your own lives. And the constituents around you. Yun lang. And then just as extra bonus today, Ron, I decided to get an antigen swab test. Yung antigen oh my God. I think I was crying for 3 hours after. Jesus, those swab tests are horrendous.
Oh yeah?
Oh my God. It was horrible.
It's more painful than the RT-PCR?
Well, no, it's the same because it's a swab. They go through both of your nostrils. They stab you in there. It doesn't really hurt. It's just sobrang like, as in luha ka na talaga. I couldn't believe it. It was such a shocker. It was negative, by the way. Thank you.
How fast is the results?
Well, we had kasi yung home service no, because we didn't want to leave. And they left, and within like 30 minutes of them leaving to an hour, they email you their results. So it's pretty good.
Wow.
But oh my gosh, I can understand now. So if you guys don't want to take those tests, just make sure that you still stay safe. Follow the protocols. Like we said, pinapayagan na tayong lumabas, but doesn't mean we stop wearing the masks and the shields. Throughout Europe, tumataas na yung mga case. Huwag tayong gumaya dyan, okay? So far, our cases are going down. Let's keep it that way. Keep wearing the mask and the face shields and observe social distancing. Kahit mga kaibigan yan or family, please try and wear the mask pa rin and observe the social distancing at all times. Yun lang. Thank you very much, everybody. And I hope everybody has a nice restful break kasi ano na ngayon, di ba? Halloween coming up, All Souls, All Saints. Normally, that's when everybody goes out of town, but I don't know what the plans are now kasi bawal tayo.
Bawal ang pumunta ng sementeryo.
Well, I never go to the cemetery anyway, especially during those dates. But yun lang. So stay safe, everybody. Enjoy the restful weekend. Take the break. Be with your families and make the most of all the moments you have with your loved ones. Yun lang. Good night.
First of all, let me thank Sarah and Celine for joining us tonight. I hope this can be a regular Wednesday thing. So we can change it up a little bit on Istoryang Futbolero, since both of you are actually football players, which makes it even better for the program to have a female perspective on the topics that we have on Istoryang Futbolero. Di ba, Mikel?
Yes, for sure.
Tsaka bonus na lang yung you guys being eye candy kasi nakakadagdag ng
Again, this is just so sexist. I'm also here in this room. I'm also eye candy. I mean, I deserve to be treated.
Oy, may request pala. Si Lenny daw. Anong grade ninyo? Tatlo.
No comment. No comment.
Mukha ni Sarah.
No comment.
So, anyway, guys, don't forget that let me echo what Mikael said. Bidang may disiplina, bawal ang walang mask, sanitize sa mga kamay, distansya na 1 metro. Alamin ang totoong impormasyon. Don't spread fake news. Please lang. Maawa naman kayo sa mga impressionable yung mga tita at saka mga tito, mga lola at saka lolo. Sila yung madaling maniwala sa fake news. For crying out loud.
Buy for herbs.
Sarah, ingat ka sa Singapore, ha?
Thank you. Ingat.
Yeah, have a good one tomorrow. Celine, alam ko hindi ka lumalabas ng bahay. Keep on doing what you're doing at home to keep safe. And you guys, you girls, stay good night and stay safe. Mikel.
Stay safe, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Ingat.
See you later, alligator.
Take care, cause I care.
Yeah. Bye.